Nathan Reed adjusted his Brioni tie, examining his reflection in the full-length mirror of his modest apartment bedroom. At 32, he was on the fast track at Apex Marketing Solutions, with Director of Client Relations firmly in his sights. The meeting with the board next week could cement his position as the rising star everyone already whispered about. "Nathan, did you see my presentation notes anywhere?" Vanessa's voice called from the living room. "I need to review them before my pitch tomorrow." Nathan sighed, maintaining the practiced smile he wore during client meetings. Vanessa Tanner had been his girlfriend for 3 years, brilliant, kind, and completely wrong for his career trajectory. Her ambitions in technology innovation were admirable, but her casual approach to networking events and her preference for substance over style didn't align with the power couple image he envisioned. "Check your laptop bag," he called back, glancing at his watch. 7:30 in the morning, plenty of time to end things. Before heading to the office, he'd been planning this conversation for weeks, ever since meeting Rebecca Sinclair at the Chamber of Commerce Gala. The daughter of a real estate magnate, Rebecca had connections throughout Manhattan's elite circles and the refined elegance that would complement his rising status perfectly. They'd already exchanged numbers, and her interest was clear. The timing was right. Vanessa entered the bedroom, her chestnut hair pulled back in a simple ponytail, wearing the sensible business attire she preferred. At 29, she had a natural beauty that required little enhancement, and a mind that constantly analyzed, created, and solved. She was wearing the jade earrings he'd given her last Christmas, the only gift she'd ever asked for, because they reminded her of her grandmother. "Found them," she said, waving the folder. "My proposal for the neural network interface is finally ready. If the development team approves it, this could revolutionize how we approach user experience design." Her brown eyes sparkled with enthusiasm. Nathan nodded absently, his mind already rehearsing the words he'd prepared. "We need to talk, Vanessa." Something in his tone made her pause. She set down her folder on the dresser, her expression shifting from excitement to concern. "What's wrong?" "I've been doing a lot of thinking about our future," he began, the words flowing as smoothly as during his client pitches. "I think we both know we want different things in life." Vanessa's brow furrowed. "What are you talking about?" "We just discussed moving in together last week." "That's exactly it," Nathan continued, maintaining eye contact the way he did when closing deals. "I'm at a critical point in my career. The next few years will determine whether I make it to the executive level. I need a partner who understands that world, who can help me navigate those circles." "And I don't understand that world?" Her voice remained steady, but he noticed her hands had tightened into fists at her sides. "Come on, Vanessa. You hated the Millington fundraiser. You spent the entire evening talking to the IT director about coding languages while the CEO's wife was right beside you." "Because it was an interesting conversation," she replied. "Since when is making genuine connections a liability?" Nathan loosened his tie slightly. "It's not just about that. We're moving in different directions. Your focus is on technical innovation. Mine is on becoming someone people notice when they walk into a room." Vanessa stood very still, processing his words. "So this isn't about our compatibility or feelings. This is about your image." "That's oversimplifying things," he countered, although it wasn't far from the truth. "I'm being practical. We both deserve partners who want the same things we do." "The same things," she repeated slowly. "Like what? A partner who looks good in photographs? Who impresses your boss? Who never challenges you? Someone who fits the life I'm building," he said firmly. "I'm going places, Vanessa. I need someone who enhances that journey, not someone who's on a completely different path." A flash of hurt crossed her face before hardening into something else, disappointment, perhaps. Or clarity. "You know what's ironic, Nathan? I always Thought your ambition was one of your best qualities. I admired how driven you were." She slipped off the jade earrings and placed them deliberately on the knitstand. "I just never realized that ambition didn't include room for substance." "Don't make this dramatic," he said, checking his watch again. "We've had a good run, but sometimes people outgrow each other." Vanessa picked up her folder, her movements measured and calm in a way that unnerved him more than if she had shouted. "No, Nathan, you haven't outgrown me. You've just never seen me clearly." She walked to the door, then paused. "Someday you'll realize what you're actually throwing away today. And it isn't me, it's the chance to be truly successful instead of just appearing successful." The door closed behind her with a quiet click that somehow felt more final than a slam would have. Nathan poured himself a scotch, despite the early hour. He told himself he'd made the right decision. Vanessa was smart and kind, but she lacked the polish and connections he needed. By next month, he'd be dating Rebecca Sinclair, and his ascent would accelerate. 2 weeks later, he met Rebecca at an art gallery opening. She wore a designer dress that probably cost more than his monthly rent, her blonde hair styled and elegant. Waves. When she laughed at his jokes, she made sure everyone important heard her. When she introduced him to her father's business partners, she touched his arm possessively. "You know," she whispered after her third champagne, "my followers absolutely love that photo we took at Dalton's restaurant. We should create more content together." Nathan smiled, sliding his arm around her waist as a society photographer approached. This was exactly what he'd been looking for, someone who understood the game and played it well. If he occasionally thought about Vanessa's words as he lay awake at night, he pushed those thoughts away. Success required sacrifices. He'd chosen his path, and he wouldn't look back. 5 years later, Nathan Reed straightened his Tom Ford suit jacket as he stood on the balcony of his Upper East Side penthouse. At 37, he had everything he'd meticulously planned for. Senior Vice President of Client Strategy at Apex, a luxury apartment with panoramic views of Central Park, and a stunning wife who turned heads at every event they attended. "Nathan, darling?" Rebecca called from their bedroom. "Which filter looks better for the anniversary post? The champagne glow or the classic noir?" Nathan sighed, maintaining the practiced smile he now wore almost permanently. "Whichever you prefer, sweetheart." Rebecca appeared in a silk robe, her phone extended toward him. "Look at these numbers from yesterday's sponsored content. The cosmetics line is offering to double the fee for our next couple's post." He nodded automatically, his gaze drifting back to the city below. The Manhattan skyline had once energized him. Now it merely reminded him of the constant performance his life had become. "The charity gala is tonight," Rebecca reminded him already. Arranging her ring light for a morning skincare routine video. "Wear the gray Armani. It coordinates with my gown, and People magazine confirmed they'll have photographers there." "Of course," Nathan replied, checking his watch. He had a board meeting in an hour, where they would discuss the potential acquisition of Catalyst Technologies, their most innovative competitor. The meeting mattered not just for Apex, but for his prospects of eventually becoming CEO. As Rebecca filmed her introduction, Nathan slipped away to his home office. Awards and press clippings lined the walls, tangible evidence of his success. Financial magazines had featured him in their 40 under 40 lists. Industry publications quoted his market predictions. By every measurable standard, he had succeeded. Yet, the bourbon he poured himself at 9 in the morning did little to fill the growing emptiness he felt. His executive assistant, Daniela, had already sent the morning briefing to his tablet. Buried among market reports and meeting schedules was a news item that caught his eye. Catalyst Technologies secures major healthcare contract with revolutionary AI platform. The article included a photo of Catalyst's leadership team. There, front and center, stood Vanessa Tanner. No, Vanessa Blackwood, the head of innovation at Catalyst and architect of the AI system that was revolutionizing the industry. Nathan stared at her image. She looked different, more polished than he remembered, but with the same intelligent eyes and genuine smile. Unlike the carefully staged photos that filled his own social media, Vanessa's expression conveyed authentic enthusiasm for the work, rather than awareness of the camera. His phone buzzed with a text from a hunter. "Rebecca, don't forget, we're meeting with the social media consultant at 3. We need to discuss our couple's brand strategy for Q4. Nathan closed the article and finished his bourbon in one swallow. At the office, conversations revolved around Catalyst's growing market share and their innovative approach. Their chief innovation officer has transformed their whole business model, his strategy director explained during the pre-meeting briefing. Vanessa Blackwood has become something of a legend in the tech community. Did you know she holds 8 patents already? Nathan nodded as if this were new information, though he'd spent the car ride to the office searching for everything he could find about Vanessa's career trajectory. After their breakup, she'd accepted a position at a small tech startup that was later acquired by William Blackwood, the billionaire founder of Blackwood Innovations. Within 2 years, she had become head of their research division, married Blackwood, and helped transform Catalyst Technologies into a market leader. The board meeting focused on strategies to compete with Catalyst's growing influence. "Perhaps we should consider a partnership approach rather than acquisition," suggested the CFO. Blackwood is notoriously protective of his company's culture and independence. "I know Vanessa Blackwood," Nathan heard himself saying. "We were at university together. I could arrange a preliminary meeting." The CEO looked impressed. "Excellent, Reed. See if you can get us in the door. Their innovation division is exactly what we need to stay competitive." That evening, as Nathan adjusted his tie for the charity gala, Rebecca slipped into the bathroom in a cloud of perfume. "Perfect timing," she said, positioning her phone for a mirror selfie. "Let's get a few pre-event shots while the lighting is good." Nathan obliged, standing behind her with his hands on her waist, smiling the exact smile that their social media consultant had determined received the most engagement. 3 years of marriage had refined their routine to a science. The right angles, the right captions, the right HASHTAGS. As Rebecca reviewed the photos, selecting the best ones for posting, Nathan found himself wondering what Vanessa's life was like now. Did she and William Blackwood pose for calculated social media content? Somehow, he doubted it. The woman, he remembered, valued authenticity above appearances. "You seem distracted," Rebecca noted, not looking up from her phone. "Remember, the Johnsons will be there tonight. They're potential sponsors for my wellness retreat launch." Nathan nodded, slipping his own phone into his pocket. "Just thinking about the Catalyst situation." Rebecca brightened. "I heard Vanessa Blackwood might be attending tonight. William Blackwood donated $1 million to the Children's Hospital." She tapped something into her phone. "We should definitely get a photo with them if possible. Their social influence is incredible." Nathan felt a knot form in his stomach. "I thought you didn't follow the Blackwoods. They barely have any social media presence." "It's not about follower count, darling. It's about actual influence. Besides, she's been featured in Forbes twice this year alone." Rebecca checked her. Reflection one final time. Car should be waiting downstairs. Ready to make an entrance? As they descended in the private elevator, Nathan realized with sudden clarity that tonight, after 5 years, he would face the woman he had once deemed inadequate for his ambitions, the woman who had now surpassed him in every meaningful way. The grand ballroom of the Plaza Hotel glittered with New York's elite. Nathan navigated through the crowd with practiced ease, Rebecca's arm linked through his. She expertly angled herself toward photographers, while he scanned the room for familiar faces and potential business connections. "The Blackwoods haven't arrived yet," Rebecca murmured, checking the entrance periodically. "I've already planned where we should be standing when they do. The lighting by the east windows is perfect for impromptu photos." Nathan nodded automatically, though his heartbeat had accelerated at the mere mention of the Blackwoods. He accepted a glass of champagne from a passing waiter, needing something to steady his nerves. "Reed," the booming voice of his CEO, caught his attention. "Just the man I wanted to see? Come meet someone." Nathan excused himself from Rebecca, who was already deep in conversation with a fashion influencer, and followed his boss through the crowd. As they approached a small gathering near the windows, Nathan felt a sudden jolt of recognition. There, engaged in animated conversation with the hospital's chief of medicine, stood Vanessa. 5 years had added a subtle sophistication to her appearance, but her eyes still lit up when she spoke about something that excited her. She wore a simple emerald gown that complemented her figure without ostentation, her chestnut hair now falling in soft waves around her shoulders. Beside her stood William Blackwood, tall and distinguished at 45, his hand resting lightly on the small of her back as he listened to her explain something with enthusiasm. Unlike the possessive gesture Nathan often used with Rebecca in photos, Blackwood's touch seemed supportive, almost reverent. "William, Vanessa," Nathan's CEO said. "I'd like you to meet Nathan Red, our SVP of Client Strategy. Nathan claims he knows you from university days, Vanessa." Vanessa turned, and for a brief moment, surprise flickered across her face before she composed herself. "Nathan," she said with a polite smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "It's been a while. You two know each other?" William asked, his expression curious but warm. "We dated briefly in our 20s, Vanessa explained with such casual dismissal that Nathan felt it like a physical blow. All those months together, reduced to a passing comment. "Small world," William remarked, extending his hand to Nathan. "Your company has been doing impressive work in the digital marketing space. Vanessa mentioned your recent campaign for sustainable technologies was particularly effective." Nathan shook his hand, struggling to maintain his professional demeanor. "We're proud of that campaign. Though I hear Catalyst has been making even more impressive strides with your AI healthcare platform." Vanessa nodded, her expression brightening with genuine passion. "The neural interface we've developed is being implemented in 5 major hospital systems. Early results show a 40% improvement in diagnostic accuracy for complex cases." As she spoke, Nathan couldn't help but notice how William watched her with undisguised admiration and pride. There was no performative aspect to their interaction, no subtle positioning for optimal impression. They simply existed together, comfortably and authentically. William and Vanessa. A woman approached with a small boy in formal attire. Someone is eager to say goodnight before heading home with the sitter. Nathan watched as Vanessa's entire face transformed with joy. She lifted the child, no more than 3 years old, into her arms. The boy had Vanessa's eyes and William's dark hair, a perfect blend of both parents. "This is our son, Ethan," William said, his voice filled with unmistakable pride. "He insisted on making an appearance before bedtime." "Hi," the child said shyly, before turning back to his mother. "Mommy, did you tell them about the robots?" Vanessa laughed, a sound Nathan had almost forgotten. "Not yet, sweetheart. That's for next week's announcement." Rebecca materialized at Nathan's side, her social radar having detected the presence of the Blackwoods. "Oh my goodness," she exclaimed, her voice rising to the precise pitch she used for her video introductions. "What an adorable little one. We absolutely must get a photo together." A subtle change came over Vanessa's expression. "I'm sorry, but we don't share images of Ethan on social media. We're quite protective of his privacy." Rebecca faltered momentarily before recovering her composed smile. Of course, I completely understand. Perhaps just the adults then? Before anyone could respond, William's assistant appeared at his elbow. Mr. Blackwood, Senator Martinez is asking to speak with you about the education initiative. If you'll excuse us, William said, his hand returning to Vanessa's back with natural ease. Nathan, it was good to meet you. Perhaps we could discuss that partnership your CEO mentioned sometime. As they moved away, Nathan caught a glimpse of Vanessa, whispering something to William that made him laugh. Ethan was perched comfortably in his father's arms now, looking completely at ease in the formal setting, protected within the circle of his family. They're even more impressive in person, Rebecca commented, already scrolling through her phone. Did you know William Blackwood turned down an acquisition offer from Jetstream last month? The stock value was insane. And she's responsible for their entire innovation division. I heard she created the algorithm that doubled their market share. Nathan barely heard her, his attention still fixed on the Blackwoods as they graciously navigated the crowd. Vanessa had never looked back at him, not once. There was no lingering curiosity in her eyes, no hint that their past connection held any significance for her. She had truly moved on, not just professionally, but personally. She had built a life of substance and meaning, exactly as she had always wanted. And that life didn't include even a passing thought of Nathan Reed. The realization hit him with unexpected force. In his carefully constructed narrative of success, he had always cast himself as the one who had made the wise choice, the one who had moved on to better things. Now, confronted with the reality of Vanessa's life, that narrative crumbled, leaving him with nothing but the hollow echo of his own miscalculation. Nathan? Rebecca's voice pulled him back to the present. Are you listening? The Vogue photographer wants to get us by the fountain. It's for their power couples feature. He followed her mechanically, his practiced smile firmly in place, even as something inside him began to fracture beyond repair. The morning after the gala, Nathan sat in his office, ignoring the stack of reports his assistant had carefully arranged on his desk. Instead, he was scrolling through news articles about Catalyst Technologies, and more specifically, about Vanessa Blackwood's contributions to the company's meteoric rise. Leading innovation in the digital age. How Vanessa Blackwood is reshaping technology, read one headline from Forbes. The accompanying photo showed her in a laboratory setting, sleeves rolled up, fully engaged in her work, no carefully posed glamour shot, just authentic passion for her field. His office phone buzzed. Mr. Reed, the board is waiting for your quarterly strategy presentation, his assistant reminded him. 5 minutes, he muttered, clicking on another article. This one detailed how Vanessa and William had met. She had presented her research at a tech conference, and he had been so impressed that he offered her a position on the spot. Within a year, she was heading their innovation division. Their professional relationship had evolved naturally into a personal one, built on mutual respect and shared vision. Unlike Nathan's calculated pursuit of Rebecca for her connections and image, Vanessa and William had forged a partnership based on intellectual compatibility and genuine admiration. They had married in a private ceremony, prioritizing their relationship over public spectacle. Nathan closed the browser and straightened his tie, preparing to face the board. But his mind remained fixated on what he had witnessed the previous night, the easy intimacy between Vanessa and William, the obvious joy they took in their child, the respect they commanded, not for their appearance, but for their contributions. In the boardroom, he delivered his presentation with mechanical precision, while inwardly dissecting every aspect of his own life choices. As executives discussed Catalyst's market advantage, Nathan found himself returning to Vanessa's words from 5 years ago. Someday you'll realize what you're actually throwing away today. That evening, he returned to the penthouse to find Rebecca, filming a sponsored segment for her social media channels. "Darling, perfect timing," she called out. "We should do a couple's reaction to these new skin products." The engagement rates for our last video were incredible. Nathan mumbled an excuse and retreated to his home office, pouring himself a generous bourbon. Through the wall, he could hear Rebecca's perfectly modulated voice. "Don't forget to like and subscribe, loves. Use code Rebecca20 for your exclusive discount." He opened his laptop and found himself searching for Vanessa again. A new article had just been published. Catalyst Technologies announces revolutionary robotics initiative led by Vanessa Blackwood. The piece detailed her vision for integrating AI and robotics in healthcare settings, potentially transforming patient care. Worldwide. His phone buzzed with a text from Rebecca. "The photos from last night are getting amazing engagement. We should wear coordinating outfits more often. Also, did you approve the caption for our anniversary post?" Nathan set the phone down without responding. The contrast between his reality and what he had glimpsed of Vanessa's life becoming painfully clear. While he and Rebecca crafted perfectly staged images of happiness, Vanessa and William were building something real, creating innovations that mattered, raising their child with genuine values, and supporting each other's growth. Turned into weeks as Nathan fell into an obsessive pattern. During working hours, he mechanically fulfilled his responsibilities at Apex, even as discussions about Catalyst's growing market dominance increased. At home, he went through the motions with Rebecca, posing for photos and attending events while feeling increasingly disconnected from the life he had chosen. In private moments, he scoured the internet for information about Vanessa's accomplishments. She had been named to Time's list of most influential innovators. Her AI systems were being implemented in hospitals across the country. She gave keynote addresses at major tech conferences, her insights reshaping entire industries. Meanwhile, Rebecca's latest social media campaign launched to record engagement numbers. "We're officially the most followed power couple in the marketing sector," she announced one evening, not looking up from her analytics dashboard. The new house tour video hit 2 million views. Nathan barely registered her words. "Did you know Catalyst is developing an AI system that could revolutionize preventative health care?" he asked, still staring at an article on his phone. Rebecca glanced up briefly. "Is that something we should be posting about? My wellness audience might be interested." "It's not about content, Rebecca," he snapped, a rare break in his carefully maintained facade. "It's about actually making a difference in the world." She looked at him with genuine confusion. "Our content makes a difference. My followers tell me all the time how our lifestyle inspires them." The gulf between them had never felt wider. While Rebecca measured success in likes and followers, Nathan had begun to question everything about the life he had constructed. Bitter irony wasn't lost on him. He had left Vanessa because he thought she wouldn't fit his image of success, only to discover that his definition of success had been fundamentally flawed. One evening, scrolling through industry news, he discovered that Vanessa would be delivering the keynote address at the International Technology Summit in San Francisco the following week. Without giving himself time to reconsider, he registered for the conference and booked a flight. "It's an important networking opportunity," he told Rebecca when she questioned why he needed to attend in person. "The CEO specifically asked me to represent Apex." In truth, his CEO had suggested sending the head of product development instead, but Nathan had insisted. He needed to see Vanessa again, to hear her speak, to witness firsthand success she had achieved on her own terms. As his flight took off for San Francisco, Nathan stared out the window at the Manhattan skyline receding below him. The view that had once symbolized his ambitions now seemed like a perfect metaphor for the hollow success he had achieved, impressive from a distance, but lacking substance up close. The conference hall in San Francisco buzzed with anticipation as attendees settled in for Vanessa Blackwood's keynote address. Nathan found a seat near the back, feeling strangely nervous, as if he were an interloper in a world where he didn't belong. When Vanessa took the stage, the audience erupted in applause. She moved with a quiet confidence, acknowledging the welcome with a genuine smile before launching into her presentation on the future of integrated AI systems in healthcare. Nathan watched, transfixed, as she articulated complex concepts with clarity and passion, commanding the room without pretense or performance. The future of technology isn't about creating digital substitutes for human connection, she said toward the end of her talk. It's about enhancing our capacity for meaningful interaction and genuine progress. Success isn't measured by perception, but by impact. The word struck Nathan like a physical blow. As the audience rose for a standing ovation, he remained seated, overwhelmed by the stark contrast between Vanessa's authentic achievement and his own carefully curated facade of success. After the presentation, he lingered near the coffee station, watching as Vanessa engaged with a group of young engineers, giving them her full attention despite the line of people waiting to speak with her. Before he could think better of it, he found himself approaching her. "Vanessa," he said, his voice sounding strained even to his own ears. She turned, recognition dawning in her eyes. "Nathan, I didn't know Apex was attending the summit." "I wanted to hear your keynote," he admitted. "Your work with neural networks is remarkable." "Thank you," she replied, her tone professional but guarded. "How are things at Apex? I heard your Q3 results exceeded projections." The small talk felt painfully inadequate. "Could we talk?" he asked abruptly. "Just for a moment." She hesitated, then nodded. "I have about 10 minutes before my next session." They moved to a quieter corner of the hall. Nathan searched for the right words, suddenly aware that he had crossed the country without any clear idea of what he actually wanted to say to her. "Your presentation was brilliant," he began awkwardly. "You've accomplished so much since we last knew each other." "Thank you," she said again, her expression giving nothing away. "I've been following your work," he continued, then winced at how it sounded. "I mean, everyone in the industry has. What you're doing at Catalyst is transformative." A small group of conference attendees walked by, several doing double takes upon seeing Vanessa. She acknowledged them with a polite nod before turning back. To Nathan, "Is there something specific you wanted to discuss, Nathan?" "A potential collaboration between Apex and Catalyst, perhaps?" "No," he said quickly. "I mean, yes, that would be valuable, but that's not why I double quote." He trailed off, then started again. "I've been thinking about what you said the day we broke up about me throwing something away." Vanessa's expression softened slightly, though more with compassion than any personal investment in the conversation. "That was a long time ago." "You were right," he said, the admission feeling like both a defeat and a release. "I made choices based on appearances rather than substance. I thought success meant looking the part, being with someone who enhanced my image." She studied him for a moment. "And now I have everything I thought I wanted," he said quietly. "And it feels like nothing at all." Vanessa sighed, checking her watch discreetly. "Nathan, I appreciate your candor, but I'm not sure what you're looking for from me. Validation? Absolution?" "I don't know," he admitted. Seeing you at the gala with William and your son, doing work that matters, it made me realize how empty my own choices have been." "Our choices define us," she said simply. "Mine led me here. Yours led you where you are. Do you ever think about what might have been?" he asked, immediately regretting the question. Vanessa's response was gentle but firm. "No, Nathan, I don't. My life with William and Ethan is exactly what I want it to be. My work fulfills me. I'm grateful that things worked out as they did." She paused, then added, including our breakup. The words stung, despite their lack of malice. She wasn't being cruel, just honest. William sees me, she continued. He values my mind, my ambitions, my whole self. That's what a true partnership is, not a strategic alliance for social advancement, but genuine support for each other's growth. A young woman approached them hesitantly. Dr. Blackwood? I'm so sorry to interrupt, but your panel discussion begins in 5 minutes. Vanessa nodded. Thank you, Emma. She turned back to Nathan. I need to go. Of course, he said, stepping back. Thank you for talking with me. She offered him a small smile. I hope you find what you're looking for, Nathan. Success isn't just about achievement, it's about creating a life that feels meaningful when the spotlight is off and no one is watching. As she walked away, Nathan stood alone in the bustling conference hall, surrounded by people yet isolated by the weight of his realizations. Vanessa had moved on completely, not out of spite or bitterness, but because she had built a life so fulfilling that their past held no power over her present. On the flight back to New York, Nathan stared out the window at the darkness, his mind churning with uncomfortable truths. He had pursued a vision of success that prioritized perception over substance, image over connection, appearance over impact. The result was a life that looked perfect from the outside, but felt hollow from within. When he arrived home, Rebecca was in the middle of filming a sponsored workout routine for her followers. You're back early, she said, barely glancing his way as she maintained her camera-ready smile. How was the conference? Did you get any good content? No, he said. Quietly, no content. He moved past her to the bedroom, loosening his tie as he went. Standing before the mirror, he saw himself clearly for perhaps the first time in years. Man who had achieved all the trappings of success without any of its true rewards. His phone buzzed with a notification. Vanessa Blackwood had just been nominated for a prestigious innovation award for her work in healthcare. AI. The accompanying photo showed her in a laboratory with her team, all of them focused on a prototype that could potentially save thousands of lives. Meanwhile, Rebecca's voice drifted from the other room. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more couples content coming next week. The contrast couldn't have been more stark. Nathan set down his phone and walked to the window, looking out at the city lights below. He had spent years cultivating the perfect image, only to discover that a truly successful life couldn't be captured in a carefully filtered photograph or measured in followers and engagement. The question now was whether it was too late to build something real. Not with Vanessa. She had moved on to a life that was genuinely fulfilling. But perhaps he could still find his own path to authentic success, one that valued substance over appearance and impact over image. He picked up his phone again and opened his calendar. Tomorrow's schedule was filled with meetings about marketing strategies and brand positioning. With a sense of clarity he hadn't felt in years, he began to clear it, making room instead for a long overdue conversation with Rebecca about the emptiness at the center of their perfect-looking life, and a meeting with his CEO about redirecting his role toward projects with meaningful impact. The path forward wouldn't be easy or immediate. Years of choices had led him here, and it would take time to chart a new course. But as he stood at the window, Nathan felt something he hadn't experienced in a very long time. Not the satisfaction of being seen by others, but the quieter, deeper comfort of finally seeing himself clearly.